Hello, welcome to this bumpy brew day. What I'm going to be making is my second rendition of my New England style IPA. The first one is Late to Work. This one is Late to Work again. The only change is I used a couple different hops. Took a couple hops out from the first one and put a couple different ones in its place. I think I also upped the amount I was using. But anyways, my efficiency level's around 70%. Shooting for a 1075 original gravity on this. Hopefully it lands, after fermentation where it's supposed to, and be a 7% beer. But the brew day is going on right now. I'm milling some of the grains. I have 11 pounds of 2-row, a pound and a half of Carahel, and what I don't have to mill, I have a pound and a half of flaked wheat and a pound and a quarter of flaked oats that will also be going into this. The hops that I'll be putting in, everything's going to be going in just the steep. So after the boil, once I cool it down to like 180 Fahrenheit, be putting in 2 ounces of each of these hops. It will be CTZ, Amarillo, and El Dorado. And after fermentation, it will be dry hopped with an additional ounce of each of these, the Amarillo and El Dorado. So, yeah, I would just kind of take little short videos here and there throughout the brew day and just see how things are going. And if I mess up, I mess up. If I hit my numbers, you guys hopefully see that. So, on with the brew day. All right, I don't know how well this is actually going to show up, but I just milled my grain and then I took my temperature reading of it. So what I'm going to do now in my brewing software, which is Beersmith 3, I'm going to go right here and I'm going to put in the grain temperature that I have, which is 75 degrees Fahrenheit. So I hit that. I'm sure my mash tun is the same too. Doesn't really matter anyways. I'm gonna bring the hot liquor up past what it should be. I'll probably bring it up to like 170 something. That way it has time to heat up the mash tun. But what this will do, if things would properly work here, this is going to adjust my temperature right here. Probably saw that happening. I wasn't looking at it, but it's going to tell me what temperature I should have my water, my first mash water temperature at prior to putting the grains in, and it should bring it down to about 156 degrees Fahrenheit from that temperature based off my grain temperature. So there we go. And I'll work on all this other stuff throughout, like the pH and stuff like that. So I can plug all these numbers in. I do have to go and get my brewing salts all measured out now. So, all right. So I got a crushed Camden tablet. I was going to put this in my hot liquor here. Just the water I'm heating up for the brew. Anyways, what this does, it drops out the chlorine and the chloramine within tap water, if you have any trace amounts in it, versus boiling my water first, which you basically just get rid of the chlorine at that point, and if there's any chloramine in it, that will not boil out. So just Camden tablet will take care of both of those, no worries. But I just wanted to show you the reaction that the water has when you put this in. All right, now it's time to go and get my brewing salts measured out. Okay, so measuring out brewing salts. This one kind of going for a light, dry water profile, so it should bring out some more of the hop flavor and bitterness out of that. So right now I just need 1.8 grams of 1.8 grams of Epsom salt. I won't go through all this, but it's just going to be basically Epsom chloride or calcium chloride and gypsum, which is calcium sulfate for my water profile I'm shooting for. Ooh, that's too much, so let's take some out. And this is for my sparge. I'm going to do my sparge first, and then I'll set my amount for the mash. Really? I don't know, whatever. Now it's 1.8, there we go. Okay, I don't know how well this is picking up. So I did let it sit for 10 minutes before taking the pH reading. I had it set for a 5.3. It's saying 5.2, but I'll let that sit in there for a bit and just see. Now it's 5.19. Just because the temperature might still be too hot, so it might be kind of messing with the actual pH, but when I first put it in, it dropped right to the 5.3, and then it's slowly been kind of creeping down. Like I said, as the temperature's gone up, it's kind of... So let me just let this sit, but I mean, right now it's looking like it's okay, if it's at least around 5.2, so cool. So yeah, I took another little bit of a sample of the mash that's been in there a little bit longer, and we're looking at 5.21. So I'll go show you what I do. I plug that into my thing. It doesn't really matter at this point much anyways, because a lot of the interactions there with the enzymes and the mash have already gone on, because it's been in the mash for at least 20 minutes by this point. So looking right down in this area was what it was saying my unadjusted mash pH was going to be after adding the brewing salts and the all the grains. It was saying it was going to be around a 5.67, but what I have noticed is my measured mash pH, which my target I set at a 5.3 to be safe in case it does go down, but it ended up being a 5.22 pH, which is good, so I didn't have to add any lactic acid once again. See, as you can see here, that would have been in the red zone. This is in the blue zone, saying that it's okay. And it says right there on the screen, during conversion, mash pH should remain in the range of 5.2 and 5.6. So we're there. Okay, so the first mash in is now done. I'm gonna start my Vorloff. If you guys have seen Stoneyard Vineyards, if you haven't, go check out his channel. He does a lot of brew days, and you'll see him Vorloff a lot. So let's go ahead, and I'm just going to open this up slowly. All right, there we go. So what this is doing, it's creating a filter bed, running out any of the grains. So basically, you get a bright runoff. Just means there's no like real husk material and stuff like that left in the runoff. So you have a cleaner boil. So doing this Warloff as the water drains out, decided it will kind of create a filter bed with all the husk material and stuff that's in the mash from the malts. And it's going to be kind of dark and murky at first, and then it will start to kind of clear up a little bit as I continue to do this, and then I'll do my batch sparge and do the same thing afterwards. The second runnings will be a lot lighter in color. And what I do is, once it starts to fill up, I'll just run it over my little slotted spoon thing here, so it can help break up the force of the wort going back in, so it's not going to disturb the bed at all. All right. Probably can't see in there too well, but there's some grains and stuff that have gone in, and so yeah, just gonna pour this back in over the slotted spoon, and just keep doing the same process until it clears out a little bit. Okay, so what I'm showing you now is my total runoff. I was supposed to get a 7.5 for my pre-boil volume. I came just shy of that, so not too bad, especially with a ton of flaked oats and flaked wheat absorbing some of the water. So yeah, pretty damn close. What I'm going to do now is take a sample so I can get my pre-boil gravity and see how close I am on that. All right, so now it is time to ignite. Let me turn my propane tank on over here. Open that all the way up. Start adding some gas. To the burner. Just turn my regulator nozzle until I start hearing a hissing sound. Okay, I can hear it. Let's go ahead and get this thing started. All right. Then I will just adjust okay, should be good. And then I'll just kind of, I don't know if we can even see in there, blue flames. Yeah, I'll just see what the boil comes up as, and I'll have to play with that a bit to make sure I don't have a boil over. All right, and now I'll get my pre-boil gravity reading. So right now I have a, flip this around. Nope, I just took a picture of myself. All right, be back. Okay, so right now my temperature's at 127.7, so I can adjust that when I get my gravity reading in here. Hydrometer Let's see. So I'm shooting for an estimated pre-boil gravity of 1062. And this is reading at, spin around again, a 1042. All right, so 1042. Let me get that temperature again. So it is about 125.6 at 1042. So what I'm going to do now is go to my tools. I have a hydrometer thing here, and let's see, measured gravity was a 1042 at 125.6, and that gives me my corrected gravity of a 1054. I am low. All right. Okay, so just waiting on this to still come up to a boil. Almost there. A few more degrees. Has a nice sweet smell to it right now. It's kind of like got a caramel and bread for the smell. So yeah, it's smelling good. But I'm just gonna go through this boil, and then I don't know. Maybe I'll pop in and here and there, but nothing really until I chill it down a little bit and then drop the hops. And so the boil is underway. Got a nice boil going. Could turn it up a little bit more if I wanted, but I think that is good, especially where it came up just a little bit low on volume. But if I do boil off more, then that will take care of that low pre-boil gravity. It should anyways. So I just poured my first beer of the day, which it's brew day. It's home brew. That is Wham Bam, my session IPA. But it's pretty clear, pretty light. So it's not quite ready, I don't think. Still, it's turned down the carbonation to serving pressure. Had the thing on like 15, 17 for full week. Started off at like 20 to 30. I was messing around with that with the drunken one and stuff. But anyway, has a nice white head. Leaves good lacing. Tight bubbles. Clear. It's straw color to pale gold. Right now it kind of has, it's lost some of the bubble gum. It's still kind of there, but there's a bit of a fruity ester that comes in as well. So it's almost got the juicy fruit bubble gum nose going. Carbonation really isn't feeling like it's there. This beer just does not want to have carbonation to it, I guess. I don't know. It's weird. Anyway, or maybe it was because of this whole glass with a big old frothy head when I first poured it because it had so much pressure. But yeah, be back. I'll probably do a tasting on this next week. Like I said, just giving it a little bit more time. There's hardly any bitterness in it, and you get the bitterness, it's balanced, but yeah, it's not really coming off like a session IPA right now. All right, be back. All right, so I have like 15 minutes left of the boil. I'm just gonna go ahead and throw my wort chiller in, and this will help to sanitize it. Going in the boil, so Let's get that all set up, and then that way I can go ahead and blast it when it's done with the boil. I can just blast it with some cold water, bring that temperature right down to that 180, shut it off, and drop the hops. What I'm going to do now is measure out my 6 ounces of the CTZ, Amarillo, and Eldorado. Okay, so just going to clear this out. I have it on ounces now. I only have 2 ounces of CTZ, so I don't have to actually measure that out. But I'll start with the Amarillo. My Amarillo is at 10.3% alpha. My CTZ is at a 14.3 alpha. Alright, so there we are, 2 ounces of Amarillo. Set that aside. Throw the next one on. Zeroes right out. So I have the remaining ounce of Amarillo for the dry hopping. I'll throw it on like when the high krausen starts to go down. And then my Eldorado is at a 12.9 alpha. Just a little bit over. Let's take a couple of these pellets out. Yeah, close enough. Alright, so the buzzer went off. It is time to shut down the gas to this. Boils over. Go ahead and hit the water. We'll bring this to 180 real quick. My dog's down below. He's gonna get wet. Move, Colby. So once I get this to 180, I'll throw in the hops. I'll go get some tin foil, put over the top of this, and let it sit for a half an hour. Then after that, chill it all the way down to yeast pitching temperature. Bring it down to about 70 if I can. It's pretty hot out today, but yeah. Show you my whole little pitching the yeast thing I do. All right, let me shut this off and see what the temperature drops to. I overshot it before, so it's down to 190. About 188. Just do another quick blast. Alright. So we are about 184 right now. Let me go get the hops. I'll throw those in. 182. So yep, we're good. There's my bowl of hops. Just gonna drop it right in there like that. I'll give it a stir, and I gotta go get the, yeah, right at 180. Gotta go get the tin foil to keep bugs out and try to keep some heat in here for a half an hour. Okay, so just running off the wort into my fermenter. The final, or the starting gravity, sorry, it came out to a 1067 total, so it was supposed to be a 1075 starting gravity. So depending on where this yeast basically goes, with this, which I'm guessing will probably drop a little bit lower than what's estimated at, because I am using 2 packs of the London Ale 3 from BuMpY-isms. So we'll see. Still has the potential of being a 7% beer, but if it does reach a 7% beer, it's not going to have the full body like I was shooting for. It should still be creamy, smooth, and delicious. Okay, so we are finishing up with the brew day here. Just got to aerate the wort. I'll show you how I do that, and after that, just pitch the yeast. So I have my sanitized tubing I'm taking out of my sanitizer bucket here. Stick this on the end of a tire pump, battery operated tire pump. All right. So I think it's foaming up enough. It's looking like it should be aerated enough. Some folks don't even aerate their things. So what I will do now is just sanitize my yeast packs. So I got the 2 BuMpY-isms London Ale 3, which is 1318 for the numbers. Smacked these earlier. I did not show that in video, but they've swelled up nicely. They're about 3 months. These things usually are good for about 6 months, but they start losing their efficiency every single couple of weeks to a month. So, but still pretty viable. Go ahead and just tear it open. Pour it on in. I will be using a blow-off tube for this, just in case. So, I mean, I came up a bit short overall on my gravity readings. But I don't know. We'll see what the yeast does here. It might eat through it, which I think it will eat through more, and go into a lower final gravity than what was estimated. So, I mean, I'll kind of be happy with anything over 6 anyways, which it should definitely be over 6% alcohol. All right, only thing that's left now, I'm just going to sanitize my blow-off tube and put this away. I have my fridge set for around 70 degrees, so it should be good. Thank you guys for watching, and there should be a tasting video coming up on this one.
not too far in the future.